Hello and welcome to Leeds United Unfiltered. I'd like to start just by giving a massive big up to my main man Mark for getting me this from the other night. Yes. Look at that. He stole it from a person in a wheelchair because they couldn't catch him. I'm only joking. Massive big up and thank you, mate, for that. It's much appreciated. And by the way, have you seen them selling on eBay these? They're going for, I've seen some that have sold for £450, which is absolutely disgusting because this one's only £399. I'm joking, of course. There's no way I'd sell it for less than 300. Nah, I'm keeping it. It's getting framed up with the shirt behind me once the season's finished, and I'm just waiting to see what to put on the plaque at the bottom. Hopefully it's going to be Leeds United 24-25 Championship title winners. So this video today is about Daniel Farke, and the other week I was digging around some old videos on YouTube and I found a really interesting one, which was by Connor from One Leeds, and it was back in 2019-20 season, I believe, and he was having a discussion with a Norwich fan, and of course at the time Daniel Farke was the manager and they'd just been relegated, and there's some really interesting points on it. So I'm going to play parts of it here and then discuss various points on it. So here we go with the first part.
You've got to spend, I believe, a minimum of 25 million at least to stay in the Premier League. At least. Norwich spent. It's rumoured that we spent up to 3 million. We had a lot of. I know, mate. You're laughing. It's hilarious. It's literally comical, isn't it? But to defend our club, we are not backed by a rich owner. Delia's down to her last peanuts. And also the perspective for Norwich is that we're such a well-run football club, and everything that we do is self-funded. We don't have a multi-million, billion-pound owner, and Delia has helped us, survive when our club was on the brink of arguably administration when we went down to League One. So
need a minimum spend of 25 million to even consider being competitive, and they had an estimate there of 3 million. I think it turned out to be about 8 million they'd spent, which is nowhere near 25 million at all. So it totally backs up what Daniel was saying the other day in his press conference, that Norwich wouldn't let him spend any money. It seems like they was wanting to recoup money from what he described as sins of the past, and it looks like that's what they've done, and Delia's wanted her money back. So on to the next bit.
It does seem to lie on the recruitment there for Norwich. With regards to you going up to the Premier League, I noticed Stuart Webber came out and said that it was 38 free hits. Do you think that sort of played a bit of a plague in the mentality of the players?
So there you go. You've got Connor that's blaming it on the recruitment, and Stuart Webber. There's no mention of Daniel Farke anywhere in this whole conversation. There's no mention of the manager at all, or it being his fault at all.
And this is the one thing, my message almost as well for the Leeds fans that are watching this is be really careful with what you put on social media, because being in the lucky, privileged position that I'm in, to be able to have relationships with, quite a few of the Norwich players, I listen to them and knowing how much they look at social media, be careful next season, because when Leeds lose games of football, and a massive thing for Leeds, right? You've got to do this transition like Norwich tried as well. You are going to go from winning games consistently, and there'll be players in your squad that all they're ever used to is winning games of football. So you're going to be hit by the hard reality of losing 4 or 5 games in the bounce next season. I'll be very impressed if you don't have one dry spell. I'll be very impressed. It's inevitable with the teams you'll come up against. Like, we're talking about, you could have a run of games of Liverpool, Man City, Manchester United. That's 3 games, down the shite pipe. That's your monetisation gone.
It's all right.
But it's true. You just really need to be careful with the mindset. Is absolutely massive. But my point is, Connor, is if Leeds fans are watching this, I can't emphasise enough. Every time you post something on social media, they'll read it. Believe me, they'll read it. So if you want to make an impact on your team next season, back them until the bitter end, because it might be the case if you spend loads of money and it goes down to the final day like Aston Villa. And that's why it's more important than ever before that Leeds fans, they make that difference by, bigging the players up and seeing the positives in the performances. So there'll be games that you lose next season where you as supporters need to pick your team up. And this sounds really strange, but I promise you, as a team that's been relegated now, what starts to happen with continuous losses is people blame people, and they don't encourage them, and they pick bones and they nitpick. But actually, it's like, hang on a minute, let's break it right back down to the reality. This is the first time Leeds are going to be in the big time for a long, long time, as you know. So just be careful is all I'm saying with your mindset, with the way that you're talking about the players. And I know that Leeds fans are a hardened, fantastic support base that should back them. But it will just be, you've got a culture learning curve ahead of you that Norwich had. And I think that we did well up until the restart, and then it crumbled.
And there you go. It's like I've always thought. The players are aware of what's going on social media, and it will affect them. So do be careful what you're spouting online, because it does put pressure on them, and that's why I always try and back the players. They'll probably never ever see one of my videos, but I'm sure some things will get back to them, and the manager as well. Imagine what it must feel like for him, doing a great job, getting us promoted, and then seeing the next day that papers and social media are putting all this bullshit out that he's being sacked and replaced. Absolutely ridiculous. So just remember, they may well see it, and it may well partly be your fault that they're not playing as well as they could.
Yeah, no, I think as well, Chris, that feeds into just even the fan base in terms of we've not been hit by that Premier League tourism yet, so it is still sort of the hardcore Leeds fans that are going to be going down there, and I think it's going to be it's triggered in my head there when you said a culture shock. I think it's going to be on all fronts for Leeds fans, and I think it's a really interesting point you make.
Now that's something else that I find interesting that Connor mentions about the tourism fans. And I've always wondered, these Farke out people, why they're so against him and what's their reasoning. And I'm pretty sure they've not been supporting the club that long. They only came in to start supporting us once we got to the Premier League. So they're a bit entitled, and they seem to think that we should win every single game. We should get back to the Premier League easy. We should have 150 points or something stupid like that. We shouldn't lose any games. And I think that's what it is. I think it's because they've not seen the League One days. The crappy days. I've seen the highs and the lows. I've seen us in Europe. I've seen us hit rock bottom. And where we are now with Farke, from where we were, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Even though we're in the Championship, it's still amazing to how bad we were, how bad the managers were that we've had. So how anyone can slate off Daniel Farke is beyond me, and that's my only explanation, is that they've only come in from the golden Bielsa years and seen that, and that's the norm for them. So anything that doesn't seem to match up to that or better it, they think is rubbish, and that's why they're all, Farke out, Farke's no good, Farke won't cut it in the Prem. Well, for me, he's fantastic. He's done a fantastic job.
So you will get punished so much more in the Premier League. And I know, and again, I'm sure there's Leeds fans that are going to be watching this saying, well, you're just little old Norwich. Of course, I promise you, Leeds made mistakes in the Championship this season, and you didn't get punished because the quality that you're up against is so much worse than the Premier League. What we're seeing in football now is such a vast gap in quality. You know, it's been talked about for years about the money and the impact that that's having. We're in it now. The gap is massive. So when you make a mistake in the Championship and a player is through on goal, they'll hit the post, they'll scuff it wide, your keeper will save it. In the Premier League, boom, top corner, 1-0. And you could have 90% of possession, having the game of your life, and then you get shithoused by Brighton. Like seriously, you have to be prepared for it.
And this is back in the season 19/20. So 5 years ago. And if anything, the gulf's got even bigger up to now. But personally, I don't think that the gap between our team and the bottom of the Premier League is as massive as some other people think. Yes, we definitely need a lot of recruitment. Yes, we definitely have a lot of players that won't cut it in the Premier League. But with how many goals we've scored, with how many records we've beaten in the Championship, I think we've got a pretty good chance if they get the recruitment right and they bring in some class players that can hack it in the Prem, some proven Premiership players. I think we might just surprise some people, you know. And I'm quietly optimistic. And if we come back down, so be it. It is what it is. Obviously, nobody wants to. We want to get up there. We want to stay up there. But we'll just have to see how it goes. And I'm excited to see what new players we bring in, what new players they can attract. The recruitment team and Daniel, I'm sure we can all agree, even the Farke doubters, that they've put together an absolutely fantastic squad for the Championship on quite a tight budget that they've used as well. We know that they've got quite a bit of money that they're going to invest. So, yeah, it should be exciting times, and it's going to be great over the summer to see which players they bring in.
I know that we've had conversations about it offline. Connor is actually Patrick Bamford. You know,
I knew you'd want to bring him up.
and I'm so sorry, and I've already seen him. I've already seen a tweet from Patrick Bamford saying, "Here we go."
Yeah, I saw we saw that. Yeah.
But the reason why it's "here we go" is because he's not good enough. Clip this up and show it to me when Patrick Bamford scores more than
Pookie.
There's no way. Like I will be stunned. Like it'll be hilarious if he does, and it'll be a miracle if he does as well, because he's nowhere near the mark. And by the way, I know I've picked on Patrick there, but the reason why I have is that you don't get many chances in the Premier League. In the Championship, you can miss two, but then score, and then the Leeds fans forget about it. Patrick Bamford's the best player in the world. If you miss two chances in the Premier League, you're the worst player in the history of the club. You're this, you're that. And honestly, I'm sorry to deliver that very brutal message, but I know this through experience because, of course, Patrick's played for Norwich before, and he wasn't anywhere near good enough.
No,
And then there's just a funny little bit on the end there about Paddy Bamford. From what I saw, I don't think anybody did clip him up, but we remember he did really well in the Prem the first season, and I wonder what that guy thought. So, some interesting points to take there from that conversation. I'm going to go back and look on other content creators. I don't know if they go back that far, a lot of them, but some obviously will. But I'm going to go back and have a look. I went back and looked on the Norwich City one to see if I could find anything about when they sacked Farke and how they felt about it, but strangely there wasn't very much on there about it. I know that quite a lot of them, from comments that I've seen, totally regret getting rid of him because, yes, he got them up, yes, they went back down, but since then they've been absolutely pants mid-level team. It looks like they're going to be stuck there for a long, long time. Who knows if they're stuck with him again? He might have got them up a third time. But it is what it is. He moved on. And luckily for us, he's our manager now, and it's exciting times. So anyway, that was just an interesting video that I found, and I thought I'd share with you. Like, share, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll be back with some more videos soon for you. And remember, guys, keep on marching on together. And I'll do this for $2.50 if anyone wants. Peace out.